in the midst of all the chaos surrounding the gaming industry right now, with Nintendo's prices and developers to yelling at you to get a better PC if your game isn't running well, I'm gonna talk about this hunk of junk. Hey there, viewer, Ron speaking, and adding to my ever-expanding collection of consoles, I have purchased a PlayStation 3. And this is not one I was expecting to get, at least it wasn't on my list. After getting that Xbox and the Switch 2, the only other console on my list was the 3DS. But those are annoyingly expensive, probably because everybody wants one these days. So they're anywhere $150 to $300, and that is way more than they were originally priced at, even at the very beginning, before the price cut there. So it's gonna be a while before I can justify buying that. I say as I bought a Switch 2, but that's a new console at least. This is a console that's over 2011, so that'd be 14 years old, and people are trying to sell it for that much, really? But in the meantime, this bad boy. So, I'm gonna be honest, the main reason I bought this was because I wanted to play the PS3 Ratchet & Clank games. That's very quickly become my favorite PlayStation franchise and one of my favorite franchises of all time after only playing it for a little over a year at this point. And I played through the PS4 game, which I know people don't like as much, but I was really itching for new Ratchet & Clank. I even played Size Matters on the PS4 store, but I really wanted to play the rest of the games, so yeah, bought this bad boy. And this is the controller the thing came with. It's a weird third-party controller that's got a little bit of crust on it, but it works fine enough. But I did buy an official controller for it, except that the 6-axis stuff straight up doesn't work on this thing. I don't know how to get it to turn on, but moving it around doesn't do anything, and for games that require that, that's a problem. But anyway, so apparently this console is just whatever techno junk they put inside it was way too complicated for a lot of developers, so meaning that it was hard to develop for, so it didn't get a lot of games right out the gate. This very famously had a pretty bad launch, but found its footing eventually, and just managed to overtake the Xbox 360. I know some people might be wondering why I didn't buy that instead for this generation. It doesn't have Ratchet & Clank, so kind of a no deal. For real though, I'm always going to be a Nintendo guy, something that's going to be harder and harder to justify as the year goes on, I'm pretty sure. But, you know, that has all the franchises I like. But PlayStation has been second place for a little bit now, because they have more of the games that I like playing, and Xbox, they don't got much. The only reason I bought that original Xbox was for Whacked, and also a handful of third-party games that run better on there. But, yeah, so, what games did I get for it? Well, technically the first game I got was Madden 08 from a thrift store, purely as a Scott Lawaz reference and nothing more. I didn't have a PS3, and I didn't really plan on playing this at all. I bought it for a joke. And I don't think Scott Lawaz even does the Madden 08 gag anymore, so this is pretty pointless, but hey, now I have means of actually playing it. I never said I would. Additionally, the guy who I bought this from on eBay included Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I do not give a crap about Call of Duty. I do know that this era, the PS3, Xbox 360 era, was kind of the golden age for Call of Duty, but I don't know. I only really ever played it at friends' houses as a kid, and I never really got into it. So I might pop this in. I don't know if the servers are still up, because I know some games that are this old are still operating and some aren't, so who knows. I might pop this in eventually, but I don't care that much. But those are the two games that are kind of offshoots in the collection. Now, the rest of the lineup, as in the stuff that I bought, can you tell I was a little excited to get this thing? Alright, well, getting to the obvious ones that I already mentioned that I wanted to buy this entire system for. Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction and A Crack in Time. This I bought on eBay along the same time I bought that thing. And I've actually already finished this game. It's really good, but I do kind of see some of the writing issues that it's just not on par. I think I still prefer the PS2 games for the most part, but this is still a really good one, and I haven't popped this in yet because I wanted to get through some other games before I just go on another Ratchet & Clank blast through. But yeah, this is easily my favorite PlayStation franchise so far. All the explosions, all the cool weapons, the funny dialogue, the atmosphere, everything. It's all like perfectly my tastes. I don't know what else to say. Now for some of the other stuff. Okay, this is interesting. I found all of this at a GameStop because most GameStops still sell games as far back as the Wii era usually. And yeah, this is like Little Big Planet seems like something I would normally play anyway. These are the special editions and Game of the Year editions, but yeah, these are pretty cheap there as well. In general, you can get PS3 games pretty cheaply. I mean, you go on eBay, you can find whole lots of them for only $30, and it's not just random sports games no one cares about either. It's like actual legit games you would want. But this was at GameStop, both of them like $20 total. And then this, I have not bothered with God of War on the PS2 yet, and I figured that this would be the better way to play it. This collection with, I doubt these codes still work. I'm sure they were already claimed by now, but I have the main 3 games here, which is good. I've only played a little bit of the first one so far, but I'll get to the rest of it eventually. And Twisted Metal, I haven't done very much in, but it's like Mario Kart Battle Mode mixed with Mad Max. And it's fun, but I don't know, something wasn't clicking with me on this one, but I haven't gone through the story or anything. I just played a couple of matches just to get a feel for it. So I'll get to that eventually. As for Little Big Planet, I can only really play through the story mode on this one because you can make levels still, but you can't really share them online anymore because the servers are shut down, which people were upset about. But I mean, when they're that old and not that many people are playing them, you gotta cut it off eventually. But at least you can still enjoy this game to an extent with the story mode, or even just creating it with and then having your friends locally play it. I don't know. I've only played a little bit of the first one. Alright, moving on. With me being such a big Ratchet & Clank fan, I had to try out their other Insomniac's other series, Resistance. And I'm pretty a decent ways into this first game here, and I like it a lot actually. Looking back at it, the graphics are a bit crusty, and the gameplay doesn't amount to much more than what you'd expect out of a first-person shooter, but it's still pretty fun. And it's funny to think that this was one of the few games people said was good at the PS3's launch, and then I'm thinking to the PS5 generation, and what have they really had? I mean, they got Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Spider-Man 2, and this upcoming Wolverine game. I mean, Insomniac is really carrying Sony right now, that's what I'm saying. And Resistance 2, I haven't touched at all yet, because I usually like to play games in order. I do hear this one changes the gameplay a lot to be more just like any other first-person shooter, with only being able to hold 2 weapons and other little limitations like that, but I don't know, I'll keep an open mind with that one. This is a fun one. I managed to find all of these old Assassin's Creed games at a thrift store. Yeah, I went to a thrift store near me that usually has pretty good stuff, and somebody donated both all these Assassin's Creed games as well as other PS3 games. Again, not just the random EA Sports games that everyone gets rid of after a while. I mean, like, actual, real games. They had Batman Arkham City, the first Uncharted, Borderlands 2. They had legit stuff. I already have the Uncharted games on the PS4. I don't care about Batman, and I don't care about Borderlands, especially not as recently. So I left those there for someone else to claim. But all these games for like $26. It might seem like a lot, but this would go for 40 or 50 on eBay. So I'd say I struck gold here. The thing is, I'm not too knowledgeable on the Assassin's Creed series. Why is my lens so blurry? I don't know about that. But, there we go. I know the series goes downhill after a while, but I'm sure these first couple games are pretty good. All the reviews I found seem to be fine. So, I haven't even popped these in yet. Again, the whole point of me buying other consoles that aren't Nintendo is me trying out other games. So, yeah, I'll get to these eventually, but... Yeah, and also I had to look up the order, because apparently it goes Assassin's Creed 2, and then one of these weird side games, and then Assassin's Creed 3, and another side game, and then Assassin's Creed 4, which I already got on the Xbox One. Also at a thrift store. It's weird. I keep finding Assassin's Creed game at thrift stores. I don't know if that's good or bad. But, yeah. On the subject of branching out, I've got this Final Fantasy X collection. An RPG! I have not really liked RPGs, if I'm being honest. Especially after playing Ratchet and Clank, where you're jumping and dodging everything and blasting things off with people shouting and everything. Standing still, pressing one button until the other thing dies just doesn't do it for me. But I do want to branch out, so maybe I'm missing something. Except when I first bought this game on eBay for like $7 roughly, I was like, okay, this is a remaster of 2 PS2 games. How long can it be? Like the other games I've played through so far, like 7 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours maybe. 23 hours! You'll have 23 hours till the piss droplets hit the earth. No, but for real, that actually might deter me from trying this for a while. Because... 23 hours, man. For what? For what? But... I mean, this series is beloved for a reason, so I do want to give it a fair shot. I've only gotten through the first, like, 30 minutes so far. But we'll see how this goes. I'll keep you posted on that. I'm working on a list of every game I completed this year, and we'll talk about it in December. So you can see then on whether I finish this game or not. It probably won't be there. And last up so far is PS All-Stars Battle Royale, which may seem like a weird one, but hear me out. This is what got me interested in PlayStation stuff in the first place. You know, I'm a big fan of Smash Bros. It was my favorite video game for a while. I'm not sure about that now, but it's still up there in my top 5 favorite games of all time. And naturally, I want to find more games like it. And one day in like 2021, I think, I stumbled across PS All-Stars and the whole fiasco this game had when trying to launch, and everyone yelling at it for being a Smash clone. And it is honestly one of the saddest stories I've ever heard of a developer that just did the absolute best with what they had and could only get so far. But after playing it, I still have a decent time with it. I mean, the super mechanic is weird, but I was able to handle it just fine. And nowadays, with stuff like Nick All-Star Brawl and Multiverse, and people really wanting another game like Smash Bros. Only for them to fail for one reason or another, this game, if it came out today, I think people would be way more accepting of it. Because people are now asking, like, what if Disney made one? What if DreamWorks made one? What if, I don't know, Sony Pictures Animation made one? Stuff like that. Or what if there was a proper anime one that wasn't Jump Force? People now they actively want big crossover party fighters like this. When this came out, this is the only other game that was doing it, so I do want them to give this another shot, although considering PlayStation is giving up a lot of their franchises, I think Everybody's Golf or Hot Shots Golf came to the Switch rather poorly, and Patapon is coming to the Switch as well. But those are some of their lesser franchises. I doubt they're going to give up God of War or Nathan or Uncharted or anything like that, but yeah. And with all the new guys they have, like Astrobot and Last of Us, say what you want about that franchise, but you know, it's a big franchise. They could really make something special as long as they tweak the mechanics to be actually functional. So yeah, I felt like I had to get this game since this is what started. Like, if I didn't buy this, I mean, I've never bought a PS2. I would never discovered some of my favorite games of all time. Again, the Ratchet and Clank games, but also the Sly Cooper games. I love those. This game got me interested in BioShock, which is actually one of my favorite video games of all time, although I played it on the Xbox One. So yeah, that's the whole collection so far. quite a lot of stuff as compared to when I first bought the PS2 or the Xbox or even the Switch 2. Yeah, I know what I like now, so I know what I'm looking for when I buy older consoles like this. So, alright, let's fire this bad boy up. Alright, here we are on the menu screen. It's pretty dry, to be honest. All the, just a bunch of lines with the options there. There's my name, Ron Boy, and then all the other junk on here I don't really plan on using. Not even the Blu-ray player, because my Xbox does that now. Something I didn't know before I bought this thing is that the PlayStation Store on here is still active. Yeah, it's all still here. There's still ads for the PS4 long after the PS5 has been out. So, yeah, if you buy this thing, you can still buy a ton of older stuff. Anyway, let's get a game rolling. What better game to demonstrate this thing than PS All-Stars? I'm just gonna do a versus match. And yeah, I was still able to buy the DLC for this game because the store is still being operational.
A most interesting proposal. Alright, let's run.
You're gonna put on a show.
Select your level.
So, yeah, the character roster for this wasn't the best, but it still got some decent ones in there, and again, it introduced me to a lot of the more obscure PS1 games and even some of the PSP ones. So, I'd say this game did that job fairly well, introducing people to franchises they may not have tried originally. So, yeah. The load times on this game are a little rough.
Clank, we've got some work to do.
Last chance to walk away.
I have yet to play any of the Devil May Cry games. I just know people don't like that one, the weird reboot they tried. Also, I would not consider myself a master of this game. I wouldn't even consider myself a master of regular Smash Bros. So. God dang it.
Hell away.
I don't like that move, the Tesla spikes. They don't work very well.
Hey, cool.
Dang it. Yeah, that's probably my favorite thing about this game is the stage mashups, where you play on the stage from one series and then another one comes in and messes things up. This is from God of War on a Ratchet & Clank stage. And I just like that this really leans into the crossover a bit, because it's not just the character. Dang it! It's not just the characters fighting, it's the stages fighting as well. I kind of wish... I am really whiffing this right now.
You're better than I thought.
Excellent.
Yes! Rhino!
Right? Come back. Center.
Glad I wore seat underwear. 10-second drop.
Hellraiser.
Thank you. 2. Have a quick plastic fit. Time up.
Parappa won. Yay. This is the most attention he's gotten in the last 20 years, probably. So, yeah, that's that. For the time being, I had to stand this thing upright because, you're gonna have to listen to that. Okay. Yeah, this, thing doesn't really fit on my drawer dresser, I guess is what this is called. But I've never used it for dressing. So, yeah, okay. That's gonna be too loud. Hang on. Alright, we got it. So, if you're really in that much of a dire state that you can't buy video games that are being made right now, which I totally understand, pick up one of these older ones, because you can get a lot of great games for way cheaper. That is assuming you're not an emulation wizard. I've gone in my things on that. Like, people can do it if they want. That's just not how I feel like doing things. Although, with the way this console is built, emulation on it is apparently extremely hard. It was hard for their main developers because it was just too much fancy junk crammed in there, and it did flow together the best. And there's entire videos explaining this thing was over mechanized and everything. So yeah, so this console cost me around $100. So if you're looking for a cheap way to get some good games, I'd say this is a pretty good one. So yeah, the 3DS is still on my list, but dear God, $250 for a 14-year-old system. Really? Really? But I'll get to that when I get to that, I guess. So, sit here. Till the next time I decide to upload. See you, viewer.